Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long Term Podcast. I'm your host, Adin Villa. Today, we have founder of PrintdFit and Sisters Market Co. and a great friend, Morgan Early. Everyone, welcome. All right. We are back with Morgan Early. Yeah, how's that?
This is good. Yeah.
Yeah? How's your day?
Pretty good. How's yours been?
It's been terrible. Actually.
Oh, no.
I don't know. It's just, there's so much on my plate. I don't know where I'm headed, but I just know it's something good.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful for the future. I am willed. I have an indomitable will, but it's just uncertainty, right? I have good intentions. I want to give to the world, but it's a lot sometimes. And I'm finding trouble with prioritizing mental health and work. But yeah, I know we've talked about that with we want to succeed and we want to prioritize what matters, but what truly does matter. Right? So so tell me about the wellness events that you're gonna be holding out.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's so much going on the plate. As you know, we've chatted a lot this week, last week, and I mean, for myself, just kind of moving forward, I've been looking to do more community building with PrintdFit. So we were chatting a little bit about the Run Club a while ago, starting that up. Spring courses is kind of taken over my workload. So it's finishing up here pretty soon. So maybe do some run clubs like we were chatting about. I have some wellness events with PrintdFit that I've been planning over the summer. So that's something really exciting. Just building that community, especially being an online business, it's really hard to connect with customers because everything's done virtually. So that's something I've been really striving to do, is have something where people can come and connect and build friendships and connection. So I think something that's just really been lacking, especially, since COVID and getting back into the swing of things since then, right?
Well, we touched up on that last night, where just the connection part of things. That's why we do this, right? That's why we want to put ourselves out there and produce that product and bring people together, because we are people people matter to us. We want to please people and they matter. But at the same time, that could kind of take away from the peace, though. Do you find that?
Yeah. That's something that we were chatting about. What was it, even last night or the night before when we were on the phone? And it's just so hard balancing everything. And I see you popping out these podcasts straight out every single day. Advin, you're always on my Instagram feed. It's you're always busy. You're in school too. You're working full time. Yeah. It's absolutely insane.
Well, you as well. I mean, you got PrintdFit, you got Sisters Market Co. And it seems like you're hosting this event on June 15th, was it?
Yeah, June 15th.
Yeah. And then you got the meeting last night, and then you're still making time for the family, still went to the brew house to watch the Oilers. It's
game day, baby. You can't miss it.
Do you ever just want a day where it's just nothing? Or
Honestly, I feel like if I had a day where there was absolutely nothing to do, I would be extremely bored with my life, because I'm so used to doing 100 different things at once, and you're the exact same way. So I think that's why we get along so well.
You thrive in the chaos.
Absolutely.
Right? It seems that when I give myself time to just veg around, I feel almost guilty. But at the same time, though, it's not healthy. I shouldn't really obsess on the days where I don't do anything, because I should just, the moment's all we've got, right? And if we're always trying to think of 10, 20 years from now, or even next week, right? We forget the now. So that's what I've been trying to implement in my days, where it's just now, this is what matters. And where would this day take me? And just be hopeful with that. But yeah, with the projects that you're working with, what are you prioritizing the most?
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, my spring semester ends end of June. So that's been something, taking a couple courses right now. I finish my diploma in December. So I'm really excited to finally be done.
Or almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
The end is near. But I think it's kind of setting in right now at this point in time that, holy shit, I'm graduating right away. I have to, amp it up a notch business wise because I don't want to work a 9 to 5.
Neither do I.
No, and I know you're the exact same way. And that's the way it's looking right now if I'm not putting absolutely everything into these side hustles that I've been building, right?
Mm-hmm. You know what I've been thinking about a lot?
What?
I just drop out of everything, quit work, quit school, and I just focus like 100% time on the podcast. And I've been just like really fantasizing about that. Just go all in, like just a full year of just grind time, making content, podcasts, putting myself out there. But then I think of the other end where it's like, okay, I need to be safe. I need that security. And I'm having trouble just, okay, do I spend this amount of time working? Because I could use that time to support what I actually want to do. Mm-hmm. And do you ever get thoughts like those?
Oh my gosh, Adam, these are my I'm in bed at 11 o'clock at night and this is my brain cycling back and forth. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's really just balancing that high risk, high reward, or do you want to just live a secure life, right? It's so hard to balance both. And I think with the podcast, even I love how consistent that you've been being, because consistency is where you're going to see results in any aspect of your life, regardless of its business, health, school. If you're consistent with something, you're going to see those results and reap the rewards of that consistency. However, it takes a while to get there.
Yeah. And that's what I've been trying to implement too, where consistency, despite what you're feeling, despite how chaotic life may get, how negative I feel, like this week has just been terrible. I'm just going to be honest. Like I'm trying to be honest with my feelings to others. I just don't want to hide it and stuff it down. So when people ask me how I'm doing, instead of just saying good, I go, I'm doing terrible. Like I'm not mentally 100%. And I'm just going through the motions right now. And at the end of the day, I know I'm not going to feel this way forever. And I'm still going to go to work. I'm still going to do the podcast. I'm still going to get the workouts in. I'm still going to treat my friends and family the best way that I can to the best of my abilities. And I'll let it be known, hey, if I am exuding a little bit of negativity, that's because I'm not at my A game, right? So when do you kind of vibe with that though? Like,
I do.
How does that, like when I'm telling you, hey, this is a terrible week, like what does that, does that make,
it's funny that you say that because I've seen you so much this week and I would have had literally no idea because you're the most positive person. And like you said, you're Likewise. Constantly outpouring into other people. And I would have had no idea that you're having a terrible week. We worked out this week already. I chatted with you on the phone and you could literally not tell. But I think something I heard, another local business, her kind of mantra for her business is like, it's okay not to be okay. And her clothing brand is surrounded across mental health. And I think that's something that's just really kind of brought awareness in recent years too, is like, it's okay not to be okay. Like I work in customer service and I feel like every single time I see someone, oh, hi, how are you? Like it's this auto pitch of just being fine. But I feel like when you're trying to be real with people, it's okay not to always be okay.
How do you approach days where you don't feel okay?
I mean, it really depends. I think I just try and do things that uplift me. So being around people that are really positive helps, and just trying to do things that make me feel good. So making sure that I'm getting my daily movement in, like having my routine that I've been going consistently to the gym. Like that's super important. Or I gotten into running thanks to you since last year. I mean, I way prefer running in the summertime because the treadmill sucks in the winter. I'm not going to lie. But in the summertime, like going out for a walk, getting fresh air, I think we're inside so much of the time working or working out or whatnot that I find that I really need to make a point to make time to be outside and be in nature and just ground myself, because there's such like beneficial impacts of being outside in nature. So that's something that I've been really trying to focus on too.
The motions of getting out there with the nature and just feeling one with the world is something that I need to implement more, because whenever I'm out in nature too, you feel so grounded. You're
Peaceful.
free. It's peaceful,
Hmm.
right? So when you say it's okay not to be okay, do you get those in bouts of like days or weeks, or is it just like times during the week? How does that present to you? Because for me, I'll just have like maybe a couple hours during the day where I just feel drained. And I question myself. And I think I never really talked about that. I kind of just accepted that. But then as soon as I verbalized that and I reached out to people and I told them, hey, is this normal? And lots of people actually have it worse, which I've found that a person's perspective on life is completely different on yours. Because like you had mentioned, oh, you didn't really know that I was having a terrible week. But then I look around at work today and I see that, oh, there's all these people and like, I don't truly know what they're going through. Right. So when you go about your day, is it always positive? Because I know you're also a very positive person. How do you kind of add a framework to your day and go
Well,
about those?
even like you mentioned, like you don't know what other people are going through, and just the way that I was brought up, my family, like we're just extremely empathetic to everyone. You never know if someone's having the worst day of their life, especially working in customer service, that the way someone treats you is a reflection of something they're going through and it's not on you. So just always treat people with kindness and compassion, because you never know if you can brighten someone's day, right? So
Because there are people going through just unimaginable pain and suffering. And that's what I've really realized every single day. And sometimes I forget and I get so caught up in my own situation that I forget that there is someone out there going through worse and they seem to be doing fine, or maybe they're not fine, but I should just communicate with people. And I think that's like so freeing for me, because the moment I did that, implemented that into my daily life, I know that the stresses, the chaos and negativity, the doubt I have with this podcast, with my own life, it all makes sense. And nobody really has the answers.
no, no one does. And it's funny, I was talking to my sister about this actually last week, and I feel like a lot of people in their early 20s just feel really lost, because there's this structure that you have for 12 years of your life, going to school, and then all of a sudden you have this freedom of choice to do anything you want to do with your life. And no one really knows the right answers. It's all trial and error. Some people go to school, some people start working right out of school. And I think a lot of people are just in this cycle of just feeling lost, because social media, just watching everyone around you doing other things, but it's a highlight reel rather than kind of focusing in and just trying to go through the motions and figure out what you want to do. So I don't know. Her and I were chatting about that, because it can be really difficult at times when you're doing something, but you're unsure and you second guess yourself in what you're doing. Am I taking the right thing in school? Am I setting myself up for my future in the best way possible? Was this a poor decision starting this business? But I think everybody's meant to be on the path that they're on and just trying to figure that out. And it's okay not to know what you're doing, I think, as well.
Yeah, no, I feel that with talking to people that are just unsure with which degree to take, and then they switch programs, or even if they're in school, should they be in school? Should they start a business? Should they run a marathon? Should they start working out? There's so much uncertainty. And then you had mentioned social media, because you see all these high achievers, and the people that post are just, as you said, posting their highlights. You don't actually know what they're going through. Like there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, I wish I was this person. I wish I was that person. But they don't realize the problems that person possesses. Like if you see someone who is an Olympic athlete, and maybe you had talked to them and you get to see that they're on the stage now and the podium and they're thanking God and all their friends and family, but you don't know what it's like to go out there 5 a.m.s, miss parties, to be truly dedicated. If anything, that person could just hate that sport. And there's many books around people who were forced into a sport just because their parents really wanted them to and they didn't want to. They'd rather just chill at home and paint, or like work a retail job. Like, there's a lot of paths, but you really have to ask yourself, what do you want?
And I think there's nothing wrong with trying lots of things. And that's something that I figured out over the past handful of years, is just trying all these startups and side hustles. And I feel like I'm slowly finding what I'm passionate about, but you wouldn't have found those things out unless you took the risk and tried something.
What do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, I mean,
in what aspect?
we talked about how we don't really know, but if you could try your best to put it in words, what you want to give to this world, because I know you're a part of PrintdFit, your Sisters Market Co. You're trying to run wellness events. You want to do this running club with me. You want to be able to network as much as possible and still have family and friends be a part of your life. What do you want?
Well, I think at the end of the day, a lot of it's not what you know, it's who you know. The world is a world of connections. So I think I've been just trying to build as many connections with people as possible, because you never know where you might end up. I think at the end of the day, I just want to be passionate about something and give something back to people and create almost like a movement of positivity. And I feel like I've been really trying to do that with PrintdFit, like empowering women to feel their best self is my kind of slogan per se, and just building comfortability and confidence in women's athleisure wear and bridging kind of the gap that I was finding in activewear that I personally didn't like to wear. And I wanted people to feel better about themselves. Just, being active, being a part of, a healthy lifestyle, because that's something I was wanting to pursue. So I think at the end of the day, just growing that would honestly be an absolute dream. But doing something even otherwise, like these wellness events that I've been running for Sisters Market Co. with my sister. So we started that 3 years ago. And it's basically like a giant boutique market. We talked a little bit about it last time, but basically we organize these events. We have like hundreds of connections with business owners across the Edmonton surrounding area that they'll come rent a booth fee from us, and then they get to display their products for the day, just like a farmer's market type thing, but a more elevated boutique style. And I absolutely love being in person and doing events like that. And I definitely think that's a way and a route that I'm going to start pursuing more so, because connection's everything.
I get that you want to provide good to the world. You want to give women a safe place to be a part of this fitness, this lifestyle where it's prioritizing your health and being your authentic self, right? You mentioned that a bunch, and you want to bring people together. Do you find that your identity is connected to PrintdFit and Sister Market Co? So for me, when the podcast doesn't do well, I'm not doing well. When I'm not running well, I'm not doing well. Just you have this thing that you create, you build, and it's all very generative. But as soon as it doesn't take off as you expected, it makes you really sad. It's part of your identity.
It is.
How do you deal with that? Because like for me, I just started this, so I don't. It's hard because I'm critiquing myself in all these different ways. Like, oh, the audio sucks. Oh, the lighting for that. Oh, I should have done that with the gas. Why didn't I ask that question? Yeah, can you give me some pointers?
Well, I think you're very similar in this way, just very high achieving, and I'm extremely hard on myself too. So I see that exact same thing, and I don't know. I think it's hard trying something new and putting yourself out there. And I feel the same way when sales are really high with PrintdFit after a launch, and I'm just buzzing. Like I am on cloud nine.
Yes.
Like I'm sure you can tell right after a product launch, I'm like, let's fricking go, buddy. The sales be rolling. But then there's slow times during the year that people, it's not Christmas time, or people aren't doing their New Year's resolutions, and it's a little bit slower. And I can definitely tell that my mood drops during those times. So I mean, school doesn't really help because it's just so busy all the time. But it's crazy how your mood can be affected when your identity is affected
Mhm.
as well.
Well, I've been reflecting as to who I really am. Like without the podcast, without the running, like who is Advin Villa? Like I think it's because I have tied these together, my identity and who I am, to the podcast, and it seems like the admiration and the positivity and the feedback that I've been getting
It keeps you going.
Yeah, it keeps me going, but at the same time, without it, I feel like it would crush me, and I don't like that. You know, I was fine before this podcast, like I was just me. But then as soon as I created something, then there's the pain of just
Well, it's your baby. You're trying to grow this.
But like, it's not me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's me. Yes, I'm creating this thing, but I'm still loved by my family. There's my friends and family.
And you don't want to lose your identity through that process either.
Yeah. Like my baby brother was just here and I was editing and he was like, hey, do you want to play with me? And then I didn't play with him. And I kind of reflected on that. I'm like, is this the right move? Like I need to finish editing, but at the same time, I love this guy. Like this guy means the world to me. But I don't have all the answers.
No, I wish I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to prioritize. So can you tell me about the time management that you have with just, do you wake up every day with a plan?
No, I wish that I said that I could, but I mean, it's to an extent, but I feel like I'm a very much go with the flow kind of person, and I just take the hits as they come. I can try and prep and plan, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's hard to plan your entire life. So I just like to go with the flow. And I mean, there is some sort of structure to my life, and I have to get school done. I have to work my part-time jobs. You know, there has to be room and time to organize the events. And I have some other things in the works with some really cool ladies. So I'm excited to see that kind of come to fruition and see if we can create a business model out of that. But I don't know, life's just really busy, and I think you totally get it too. But marathon running, though, that's like another whole thing.
Yeah. Are you planning to run the or let me retry, like what's this business about? This business idea that you got with the ladies?
The ladies, well, I can't say too much, but there's a group of us, there's 4 of us, and some really awesome ladies. One of them being Alyssa, who runs 20 something girl. We have, some really cool stuff kind of in the works. And I think for us, we were just looking to create that community space and do some sort of fun events with that. So that's all I'll kind of say about that. But definitely keep your eyes peeled for some really cool stuff coming out this year, because we are all really passionate about in that health and wellness kind of field. And I think it's funny to see how all of my businesses are kind of in that field. But when you're passionate about something, you just give your all into it. So yeah, it's super cool. But I mean, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes.
What draws you into event coordinating?
You know what? When I was younger, I wanted to be a wedding planner. I don't know why.
You still could.
Oh, I'm sure I still will. There's still room for more side hustles, Advin.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just love people, connection. I'm a very outgoing and friendly person. And I think that's just something that really comes naturally to me, is just being my authentic self and connecting with people. And event planning is such an industry where you have to be good with people, because if you're not, then no one's going to want to work with you. And I think event planning and sales kind of go hand in hand in that way. So I think that's definitely a direction that I'm going to take, like career-wise. But yeah, how about you?
Yeah, no, I really like bringing people together, and just, I know a lot of people are scared to talk to each other. So me, when I'm at the gym and I'm working out with a friend, and I see another friend and they don't know each other, hey, this is this person, and then I'm so happy to introduce them together, because then it could spark something and they could be friends outside of our friendship. Because I know for many people, they don't want to mix their friends. I don't really know why that is, because it may be jealousy, or they don't want their friends to be better off than they are. But I say a rising tide lifts all boats. And even planning the 5-year high school reunion that we have, it's just so stressful. Like, I'm thinking about the sound system. I'm thinking about like the liquor. I'm thinking about the personal invites and what could go wrong. Will they even accept me? Like, what am I going to say? But I think it's that risk taking too that gets my adrenaline going, kind of that uncertainty of, okay, I'm going to present myself out there. Are people going to accept me? Or are people going to reject me? And that's kind of like, I want people to not be afraid by leading as an example.
And I see you do that time and time again. It's a really good quality to have.
Yeah, no, and I always knew I had it in me to be able to connect people, but I just didn't hone on it. Like, I didn't really capitalize on it. But then once I realized that was a strong suit, then I just kept going, and with the law of probability, when you talk to enough people, there's going to be negative people that just don't like you. And I've gone through those people.
That's with anything.
What's that?
That's with anything, though.
Yeah,
you can reach out to so many people trying to sell something, and not everybody's going to want what you're selling, right? There's always going to be people that are not interested.
Well, not even that. It's just they just don't like the way you present yourself. Like, I've come into contact with people that just don't like my attitude about life. Maybe they don't like the way I smile. They don't like my topics of conversation. And for the longest time, that made me so uncomfortable. Like, why does this person not like me? And I did my best to, maybe I should just change my posture. Maybe I'll just change my topics. I try to cater to them. I try to change myself, and I avoided certain topics that would trigger them. But then I realized, like, why am I letting this 1% bother me? Why don't I just be nice to this person and not change myself? Just act the way I am. And what I've realized is, when you're kind to people that are dicks to you, like, they actually like find it really annoying. But what ends up happening in the long run is they like you. And that's, from my experience, that's what's happened. I've talked to some people and they don't like me, and I could clearly tell tone of voice, body language, just the way they respond, the way they treat other people. And then when they talk to me, it's like, you ever feel that?
Yeah.
Where like, when they get to you, it's like, oh, you were so enthusiastic with Brittany or John. When you turn to me, you seem like you now have no sleep. Like, and I just, how do you deal with people that don't like you, aside from sales, like on a personal level?
I mean, it's hard not to take things personally, I think, from time and time. But like you said, you can't change who you are for other people, and you have to just live your life on your terms and try and just be the best person that you can be. If you're not being rude to other people or mean, and you're just being kind, like, what's wrong with that, right?
But some people just don't like the way that you're maybe too kind. Maybe they find that you're fake. You ever gone into those situations?
Yes and no. I feel like more so as of recently, I've been just trying to like adjust my mindset to not allow things like that to get to me, because you can't be friends with everyone, even though I try to be. You can be kind to everyone, you can be friendly, but you're not going to be friends with everyone. And I think it just, at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. I wish we could all be friends. But then again, I was talking to a friend who was at Adri, and he said that it's hypocritical of you to want everyone to like you if you don't like everyone.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point. Adri's got some real knowledge.
Yeah,
I swear he just spits it out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just, you can't expect everyone to believe in what you believe in if you don't just believe what everyone believes in. It's kind of like people tend to get really hypocritical sometimes.
Yeah. Well, even you've created this movement of running, and like how many people you talk to in the past year and you're like, come run. And you know how many no's you probably hear from this?
99%.
99% of the people are saying no to go running, but you're still running. And you're still telling people to come run with you.
I just think it's freedom. Like when I plan to run tonight and it's just one foot in front of the other. I think that's just going back to consistency. That's all there is to it. Like when you run PrintdFit, when you run Sisters Market Co., the relationships you have, going to the gym, just waking up every single day and getting after it. That's running for me, one foot in front of the other. And when I say running is freedom, that's life. It's more than just a marathon. It's more than just body movement. It's like a whole lifestyle where no matter how you feel, no matter if, I don't want to say the morbid, but it will happen to people. If your parents do die, if somebody you love dies, you go through a breakup, you go through a failed business, you get a bad grade on a test, you get your kids taken away from you.
That's so dark.
You can't just sit there. Like you have to put one foot in front of the other, and that will happen. Like,
what made you get into it?
I think it was a dark place in my life, and I had already been doing a bunch of cardio. Like I was already pretty into the Stairmaster, but then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try this running thing, and I saw videos of like David Goggins. I don't know if you know that guy.
Yeah, of course I know David
Navy
Goggins.
SEALs guy, and he had this meaning about suffering, just like, and I kept pushing myself to just like, okay, maybe I'll do a 3K, then a 4K, and then a 5K. And eventually my body just adapted. And no matter how tough the day got, running for me was just so liberating. Like there was no working out didn't do that for me. Like just cardio did that for me. And I heard this statement many times where if you could put exercise in a pill, it would be the best-selling drug. And I think for me that's cardiovascular exercise. And that's just so freeing for me, because I think when I think of long term too, I'm thinking just 40, 50 years. When I'm 80, I'm still going to be doing this. Like this is like the podcast, like anything that I do right now, the way I interact, the way I love my family, the way when I do run, exercise, I think about it in terms of when I'm 70, when I'm 80. Am I still going to be doing this? If the answer is no, then I probably shouldn't be doing it. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You like running, right? What does running mean to you?
Well, I mean, for me, I got into it last summer. I mean, because you kept pestering me. Come for a run, come for a run. Yeah. But honestly, I'm so glad that you did. Because I was also in just like not a great place. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. And I think when you're in a relationship for so long, your identity is, like we talk about identity again, it's tied to this person. You don't really know yourself without this person. And for me, I just really wanted to create a new identity. And I think running was just like a breath of fresh air for me, getting back into a routine. And it just feels so good to be outside. It's a breath of fresh air. And it's hard, like it's challenging. And I feel like I'm always looking for something to push me to the next level. And I feel like last summer was just really getting into running. The furthest I would run would maybe be 10K. And I was working towards this year and just completed my first half marathon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. All to you. Mm-hmm. But I flew out to Vancouver and my cousin ran it with me.
She finished it.
She did. So funny story. My sister was actually training with me to go do the marathon or the half marathon. We were going to fly out there. I have family that lives out near Vancouver. So we were going to visit with some family, run the half, and life would be all dandy. But my sister was on a wait list for her shoulder surgery. So she bailed out last minute and I flew out by myself. And thankfully, my cousin, who did zero training, props to Tiana, came and ran the half marathon with me. Tiana. And she killed it. She did so good. Yeah. So you know what? It's mind over matter. And she, like, I'm just so proud of her and so thankful that I got to experience my first half with her. And you know what? I can't wait for the next one. I'm not registered for any yet, but
Register for the one in August, Morgan, please.
the service?
Yes, do it.
The
Do it.
service, what is it, a half or full marathon in Edmonton?
Full. Or you could do either half or full.
Are you doing the full?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, you're crazy.
Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Get Chris in there too.
You're trying to kill me. I'll see if I can convince Chris to do some running. He'll say hell no.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Are you running with a group of you guys or just yourself?
No, nobody wants to do it again.
No one wants to do it again with you. Admin. Oh my goodness, you're gonna make me feel so bad. I'm gonna do it with you.
Please do. Tell everyone, hey, run a marathon with me, please. Just, it's such a great feeling. It's just when you do something over and over, like so repetitively, it just becomes so easy. Like running a marathon isn't that big of a deal. Like honestly, like sure I could say, oh, I ran a marathon.
How many have you done now?
I've done 3.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And how many ultras? You did
2
ultras. So what is an ultra?
An ultra is anything over 42.2 kilometers. So technically it could be 42.3, but nobody really makes that a marathon. It's either 50, 60, 70, 80, but I've done a 50 and I've done 100. And then this September, I'm going to be doing a 160K, so 100 milers.
Where do you find these races?
You just search it up. They pop up. You just sign up.
Wow.
Okay, the thing with pain, Morgan, is just like even going back to your breakup, you find answers in the pain, whether it be self-induced or something that just somebody inflicted on you because they're going through some stuff. You find answers onto life. So when I'm running, when I feel like giving up, when I do not feel good, because at the start of every single marathon, but the start of everything, with the podcast, with the business, woohoo, let's do it. Like everybody's, yeah, like let's do it. But then halfway through, whether it be self-induced or just the doubt, the guilt, the shame, you find answers amidst the pain, right? So when you're running, for me, that's the biggest growth I have, is when I'm just at 80 kilometers and I'm going, oh, I want to give up. But then I go, like, what does this mean to me? Like, what is this? What does each step mean? Like, what does my life mean? Because all of my life, I've always prioritized the path of least resistance. And the moment that I chose pain and found meaning into it, all these ideas kept popping up. Like, oh, maybe I should do the high school reunion. Maybe I started thinking about death. Maybe I started thinking about forgiveness and loving people and God. And I find I grow so much amidst those times where I am tested. And even like a coworker was not very nice to me a couple of weeks, and I was in pain because we were good friends. Okay, what route do I choose? Do I choose forgiveness? Do I just give up? Do I quit? And all these things, I look back and I go, wow, life is so beautiful. Like, I just accept the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost embracing it in a way. It's funny that you mentioned that, as I feel like this past year has been a year of really just diving to the deep root of my like childhood wounds and like working through forgiveness of all of that stuff that I feel like I've suppressed for a really long time. So it's crazy how much freedom there is in forgiveness and how much peace you feel after going through that process of working through this each week. It's absolutely insane.
And listen to this. The gifts and wounds that you have are next door neighbors.
They are.
Like, the reason maybe I like to overachieve, maybe I like to just put myself out there, give it 100%, is I think I'm scared of people not loving me if I don't do these things. And I know it's just, I want to prioritize self, like the discipline, and I want to prioritize the lifestyle. But I think what's propelled me to my gifts were because of those wounds as a kid, right? And like looking back, I was the same way, where there were things that my dad and mom were not the best at. And it's now it's just, I look back and I go, that was not healthy at all. Like, I need to find meaning onto that. And why did they do that? And
It's
when
crazy
you,
that a lot of this, it's always tied back to those first initial relationships in your life. And you can really drag that through your entire life without even knowing that there's those wounds that haven't been worked through yet.
yeah, I always thought I was this confident person in high school. Like, I could just talk to anyone. I still can, but I didn't know I actually was carrying all this grudge, all this baggage, because I never forgave people. Like, somebody did me wrong, and I would just hold that all in. And then when I talk to that person, that glimpse of that moment would pop up. Or if I get in a fight with people, all the things that they've done in the past would surface. Like, with all my friends and family members, I would just, maybe it would be like, let's say you and I were having an argument and you had done me wrong in the past. You never have, actually. You're one of those people that have actually just been really good to me, and I'm thankful for that. You're an amazing friend. But throughout many of my relationships, there's betrayal, there's this mistrust, there's promises that were not met. And all these things surface as soon as negativity is brought upon the interaction. And not only would that late, being late to the event matter, it would be this 100 things. I'd be like, oh, you did this, you did that, you did that. Next thing you know, your entire relationship is just ruined. And sometimes it's too late. And actually, there's this quote I was reading last night, and it's, a moment of anger can ruin a lifetime of worth of, I forget what it is. A moment of anger can ruin something that you've built for a lifetime. A moment of love can break barriers that took a lifetime to build. Does that make sense?
Quote. Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to forgiveness, like, what made you realize that you needed to prioritize this into your lifestyle?
I just felt like I was carrying on to some sort of baggage that was really inhibiting me from pursuing each individual part of my life to the fullest potential. Like, when you have hatred in your heart and you're not forgiving the people in your life, then your business is not going to succeed. You're not going to have a strong relationship with God because you don't know what forgiveness is. You're going to be lacking in school or work, and you're constantly, I feel like, in the back of your head having this like trauma per se that just lingers there. And I just didn't want to have that anymore. And I wanted to see full success in all aspects of my life. And I wanted to mend those relationships with the individuals in my life that hurt me, because I don't want to carry any hatred in my heart towards those people.
Do you ever get guilty with the things that you should have done or said? Maybe you hurt people. Do you ever?
Yeah. And I feel like it's hard to like think about those situations because you want to just block it out, but you have to almost embrace those situations and work through them internally so that A, they don't happen again, or B, you're able to mend those bridges with those people in those situations too. So
Yeah. I was in a long-term relationship in high school, and I wasn't the greatest person. And I put so much guilt onto myself as to how I acted. Like, why did I say that? Like, why did I do that? And in retrospect now, I was awful. I was terrible, horrendous. And I've apologized since, and we're on all right terms. We've talked, and I've sent her this long paragraph, and I've apologized many times. And same with some of my friends that I made in high school, where I was very mean. Like, I wasn't the nicest person. And I held that with me, and something good happened in my life, I'd be like, I don't deserve this. I hurt people. Like, I don't. And then when a pain would be inflicted on me, I'd be like, oh, I deserve this because I wronged this person. This is karma. I knew it was coming. I should have been good. But what I've realized is we are not who we are 5 years ago. Like, you're a completely different person when you're with that person 5 years ago. Hey,
I just look at like
Mhm.
17 or 8-year-old Morgan, and literally it's crazy how much growth you can have in 5 years. I even think back to us when we first became friends early in high school, what, grade 10 or 11? We really
we
became
were always
close.
like, we knew of each other.
Mhm.
But Chem 20 was definitely the time where we started talking.
Oh, Chem 20, what a vibe.
Yeah.
That class was iconic.
I actually felt really connected to that class. Like,
Yeah.
we hung out like sometimes outside of the class, but like we were really tight, like all of us. And now everybody's got their different paths and in life. It's cool. Like, Ireland is a nurse. Like, who else? Mason is like doing her own thing with the being
She
amazing
works
to
with
children.
youth. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
she's doing amazing, and Adam's doing some business thing, and they're all great. Hey, and then it always goes by so fast. Like, that was 6 years ago.
Yep. My sister graduates tomorrow. It's
Wow.
my youngest sister. It's absolutely crazy
Yeah.
to think about because that was us 5 years ago.
Yeah. Jeez. When is this just gonna, like, when you were there sitting in that class, were you in the moment? Were you thinking about like, oh, the boy that rejected me, oh, the test, oh, I have to work at night? And they say that the days are long, but the years are short.
They are.
Yeah.
Advin, I remember that class, I swear, like the back of my hand. I would show up late every single day because it was right after lunch hour because we both have younger siblings. Like my brother's 15 years younger than me. So I would leave whatever class, go pick him up from daycare, go drop him off at grandma's house and show up late every day to class.
Early. Mr. Nabek, early again.
Again, you're late.
You would look so stressed out. Like, I felt like you always just had it in you to like have all these responsibilities.
Yep.
And does that ever get like really heavy and you just implode?
I feel like when I was younger, I took a lot of it really hard because, you know, being an oldest sibling, you know it. You just care for your family and you're there to support your parents and help out a lot of the time. And I feel like I've recently grown to really appreciate how willing to help my family. Like everybody bends over backwards to help each other out no matter what. And I just think I'm so grateful to be a part of a family that does that for each other because I've seen other families and sometimes, like a lot of the time, they don't do that for each other. So
I've witnessed families that actually just hate on each other. They just straight up hate, do not love each other. And this is your mother. Like, this is a person that nurtured you in her womb and tried her best. But the narrative that seems to come out of their mouths are, she doesn't love me. I hate her. And when I hear that, I'm like, man, like I don't know the full story, but there are mistakes on both ends.
that's where we come back to forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is freedom.
And my relationships too, it's just, there's always coming to shortcomings here. Cause I know my parents, it's their first time living as well. Like, nobody gets training to be a perfect parent. Nobody will ever be a perfect person, let alone like being a perfect parent. And there are all these things that happen, and sometimes, it's just the best we could do is forgive. Like, it's so, like, I've heard that a lot of people like hold on to this like trauma, hold on to like all this anger and grudge because it makes them them. Like, without it, they wouldn't be them. And it adds to their work and it adds to value and motivates them. But I feel like that's just so dark. It's so heavy. You let that go and just go with thinking about the future and adding love and meaning. But there are people out there that do succeed, but their driving forces are grudges, negativity, pain. Like, wait till you see me here. Like, they start up a business or they start up like working out. I'm going to get really fit so that no girl will ever reject me, or I'm going to prove to be the strongest. The meanings that we associate with going about our endeavors can be our own pitfalls, you know? And I've certainly been in that situation where it's like, okay, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna show this girl that I'm good enough, but then again, you're not doing it for you, and like it's not the right meaning, and you know it.
Mhm. Your intentions have to be in the right place.
Were your intentions always in the right place?
For which part?
The way you go about life, like, see, sometimes even with this podcast, even with showing off my achievements about peace, love, and positivity, it could be egotistical sometimes. So like I embody, this is me. I did this. I'm an individual. Nobody else can do this. But I find it actually like really makes me sad in the long run. I don't know if you're the same, but like, when you like maybe get a lot of sales and you finish that half and you do something that's good for you. Oh, this is me. This is all me. Right? You get that ego that feeds on. And so like, where do you draw the line between like confidence, like ego, and like doing it for others and adding meaning?
Yeah, there is a very fine line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
You know what? I don't even really know. I feel like you just navigate things day to day and just try your best. But yeah, there is a fine line though, I think, between confidence and ego. So I think just where your intentions lie and you just try and outspew that onto other people is the best way to go about it.
Well, you've always been like really selfless though, with the way you interact with people. Like, you know how to listen, you know how to treat people properly, and that's always been you. Now, has that been the case since you were very young?
Well, I think my mom honestly just demonstrated such an amazing way bringing us up as a single mom for a large part of our life. And she is seriously the most selfless person I know. And I think just watching her lead by example of sacrificing everything, is like, she was a really young mom too, that I don't know. It makes me really proud to have her in my life and to try and just continue that on and try and be selfless and show other people kindness and compassion as well.
Do you find that when you have bad days, you think about what she had to go through?
I really do, to be honest. And that's what actually that's my like very bottom core of my motivation and discipline. I feel like I owe it to her because she sacrificed so much to provide for me and my sisters when we were younger I don't know, like, that's the reason PrintdFit exists. Like, of course, I want to empower other people and to be positive, but that's the very core, is like, I want to give back to my mom. I want to create a movement that I can help her in the ways that she helped us when we were younger.
Anytime I go to White Ave, downtown Edmonton, I see all these homeless people, and they have needle marks, and a lot of people don't really have much compassion for them, kind of just forgotten outliers in society, and people just are scared of them. They don't want to talk to them. They were just like us one day, like one time. And I think if I didn't have my mom, my dad give me the love that I needed, like, what if your mom didn't exist? Or not that she didn't exist, because then you wouldn't exist too, because she gave birth to you. But what if she didn't give you that love and support? What if she didn't make those sacrifices, just booked off? Now, 3 girls, like, too much responsibility. That is the reality for some people.
It really is. And you know what? It's so sad to see that too sometimes. Just, I could go on about this forever, I swear.
Yeah, go on.
But it is really sad to see that, some people don't have loving and compassionate parents that raise them in that way. But at the end of the day, even if you don't have that when you're younger, it's your responsibility to try and be the best person onto other people that you can be too, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of shortcomings. Like there's going to be things out of your control, and they're
But
going
the
to be
only person you can control is yourself. My mom tells me that every single time I'm upset about a situation or I'm frustrated, is you can only control yourself. You can't control anybody else in the way they react or the way that they do. So, yeah.
true. You can't even control yourself sometimes. Like sometimes your genetics, you're just predisposed to feeling certain type, like a certain way. But then there are your actions, right? Like how do you choose to respond to people, how you can to go about your day and just cultivate a life where it is filled with opportunity, and it is filled with positivity and love and faith. Because the flip side is also true. You can cultivate a life with hate, with fear, with judgment, with resentment.
Such an awful life to live, to feel those emotions constantly.
But that is the reality for some people, though. And I see it. Like I see it in people that have it all. You ever met people like those? They're
Well,
like,
I think you can look and perceive and think that people have it all, and the way that they display themselves to society, but you never really know.
Yeah, you never really know up until you become really good friends with them. And that's that vulnerability that I always want to extend to people, where you need a true friend. You need like a unconditional love. Because have you ever played around with the idea of unconditional love? Like, do you think it exists?
You know what? That's actually a thought that I've been thinking about as of recently. That's funny that you bring that up. I think it does exist. Did I receive it in all aspects of my life? No. But I think when you do find it, it's something to be cherished, and it's a really cool feeling.
Yeah. I think I get that from God, but then I ask myself, okay, do people do that? Like, what if I started acting like an absolute prick to you? Like I just insulted you, and
I would be so caught off guard, because that's
yeah,
not
of course.
you.
Yeah, of course. That's not us. What if you just mistreated your family members? They wouldn't want to be around you. But then I realized, what if other people did that to me? People that I would never expect. I would think something was wrong. If they started calling me names, like let's say you started calling me names like out of nowhere, I would want to help you because I know that's not who you are. And there's this guy I was listening to. His name's Matthew Hussey, and he's like the number one dating coach. He was just on the podcast with this guy named Chris Williamson, and the way he talked about unconditional love was, when you ask parents why they love their children, they just do. Like they don't go, oh, because my baby has like a really pointy nose, or they can sing well. No, they just do. Or you ever, like when you're walking a dog and like, oh my gosh, like, wow, that's a hideous dog. But then that person would never exchange that dog for another dog.
No, like because they love the dog.
That's their dog, right? That's unconditional love to me. Okay, and I was thinking, okay, what if I could get a better brother? You know, like someone who's more respectful, same race, you know, so still looks the same, but it's not them, but it's them. I wouldn't do it. And I feel like that's unconditional love. And let's say, okay, what if my brother were to murder someone? Like,
oh my goodness. Okay,
we're diving. Sorry. I'd still love them, but I'd want them to I'd want to seek justice. And that's kind of what I've been trying to implement in my like everyday interactions. Unconditional love for most people, you know. Like certainly I can't do that for just random people, because like, you know, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm still trying to find myself. Can you do that with random people? Like, I don't know. Like, but did that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Just, yeah, there's some really ugly babies and dogs. Like, I'm sorry, but like, no, No, because like I see some babies like, hey, like
You
there's
can't
some
just return it, Advin.
No, there's
You
some.
don't just
there's
swap
some,
it out for another one at the hospital. You're
there's-
stuck with that thing for life.
There's some people that were just like new mothers, new fathers, and they showed me the pictures of their baby. I'm like, oh my gosh. I wish I could just say, wow, that's fucking ugly. Like, I get that. Maybe they'll like grow up. Like usually they can become really cute at like 5, but like the first year, it's just, yeah, it's
Just
not
little
good.
gremlins.
It's not good. But yeah, what else do you want to talk about? We're at an hour.
We are? No way. Time flies when I'm with you.
Flowed. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's been a good convo. No script.
No script. Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of just, we're friends. So
Yeah.
conversation just flows. This is
Yeah.
our typical, we'll be on the treadmill, literally just running, except half the time you're like elegantly pacing and I'm just out of breath trying to keep up with your pace.
Man, you're one of those people that just know what to say to uplift me. Like I remember there's just awful days and I have many of them, and then I'd see you, oh my god, like you got this smile that goes from like your eye to eye. Just covers the entire face. I'm like, this is Morgan, why are you so funny? Like, but you're not even saying anything. But yeah, no, where can people find the next event or and what you're planning about?
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Mm.
so June 15th,
Okay.
we're doing I'm the owner. It's just me. I say
Okay.
we, but it's I am PrintdFit.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
So myself, I'm hosting a wellness event. One of my coworkers, she just opened up a yoga studio, Sherwood Park Yoga. So definitely go check it out if you're into yoga there. So I'm hosting it there. And then another one of my friends who's a fitness instructor, she's going to be leading the class. And we're doing a HIIT, kind of high intensity, but not too, we're not going to scare everyone away. It's going to be fun. It'll be a good little sweat in the morning. So June 15th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. PrintdFit, we're hosting this, wellness kind of pop up. I'm going to have all of our products there so people can feel them. All the attendees that purchase tickets, you can find them online through the link in my bio at PrintdFit. Then you can purchase a ticket. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Saturday, June 15th. All attendees get a free tote bag. I'm working on some sponsors for the event, so we'll see if there's more goodies, free goodies for everybody. And then as well, a 20% discount code to PrintdFit. So I'm bringing all the products there so people can feel the product in person, try it on. I think with online businesses, it's really difficult when someone's never tried my brand before to know how it fits, right? Because I'm not a super giant brand yet. Knock
You
on
will
wood.
be.
It will be one day, but people can try on the products and check it out, mingle. We're here for connection and community. So
Awesome.
meet some other fitness enthusiasts and just have a really good time. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And that goes well. There will be many more to follow. You and I have the run club in the works. I think it's just such a nice
coming
thing.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the plan coming up. What are we thinking? Sundays?
Sundays around like 1.
Yep. So we
Yeah.
can go praise Lord in the morning, go to church, and then
Mhm.
have a nice little run club in the evening or
Yeah.
afternoon with long term and PrintdFit.
Yeah. What do you want to call it? You want
I don't even know.
I'd say long term, but like
It could be long term.
Yeah, long term running.
Yeah, long term running. You
Yeah.
know, people are long term, and you know what? Running is long term, and health is long term, and
Yeah,
cardio is
yeah.
freedom.
Thank you so much, Morgan, for coming on today. I know
Oh.
you're very busy. You still made time to come.
Anytime. I always make time for you, Admin. You're a true
Thank
one.
you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah. And to everyone out there listening, watching, there's a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope. Have faith and keep it long term. Peace.